Are you familiar with the Rajneesh story?
Joe Rogan stumbled upon Osho, the enigmatic Indian mystic, in a way that mirrors his own relentless curiosity. It was 2018, and Rogan, already a cultural juggernaut with his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, was diving into the Netflix docuseries Wild Wild Country.
Dude, have you watched Wild Wild Country?
It's the best.
Holy shit.
Okay, when you're 1 or 2 episodes into that.
I'm 4 episodes in now.
Okay, perfect. Hey,
The story is so insane. While I'm watching, I'm like, how the fuck did I not know
how
about
did I not
this?
know about it?
I mean, the whole thing was just a massive mind fuck.
The series chronicles the rise and fall of the Rajneesh movement, led by Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, later known as Osho. Rogan was hooked. He described the documentary as mind-blowing, a story so wild it felt almost fictional. In episode with comedian Ari Shafir, he marveled at how he'd never heard of this bizarre chapter in American history, a cult-like community in Oregon, complete with red-robed followers, Rolls-Royces, and a bioterror scandal. But it wasn't just the spectacle that grabbed him. It was Osho's ideas, tucked beneath the controversy, that sparked something deeper.
Reading his book, Osho's book, The Art of Living and Dying.
Oh, yeah?
It's very interesting. What's unique about him is that the things that he's saying are like legitimately profound.
Rogan's first real encounter with Osho's philosophy came through The Art of Living and Dying, a book he mentioned on Instagram in August 2018 and later discussed in episodes with Tom Papa and Everlast.
I've been reading his book, and it's actually pretty interesting. The Art of Living and Dying. And he wrote this book after...
Bhagwan?
Yeah, he wrote this book after he became Osho. Or maybe they published it after he became Osho. But it's a very good book.
Rogan was surprised, even shocked, by the depth of Osho's insights. This wasn't the fluffy spiritual jargon he might have expected from a figure tied to a scandalous cult.
It's like philosophically, he's a fascinating guy.
Osho's take on death, reincarnation, and living fully struck Rogan as profound, almost disorientingly so. He admitted to finding it surprisingly interesting, a testament to his willingness to look past the headlines and engage with the substance. For a man who thrives on questioning everything, authority, dogma, even common sense, this discovery was right up his alley.
About Wild Wild Country, and it's weird about all these crazy sex cults. It's like part of it you go, yeah, like they got something going on that's right. Like they're figuring out something, like they're a little bit...
What I couldn't figure out about that was where was the flashpoint where this guy became this guy?
Osho, born Chandra Mohan Jain in 1931, was no ordinary spiritual leader. He didn't just preach, he provoked. Calling himself never born, never died, he rejected the confines of a traditional biography, insisting he merely visited this planet from 1931 to 1990. His followers etched those words on his epitaph, a fitting summary of a man who defied categorization. Osho adopted his name late in life, drawing from William James's term oceanic, which described a boundless, transcendent experience. But he went further, saying Osho also represented the experiencer, the one who dives into that vastness. It was a name, a sound, a challenge to the status quo.
I read his book because I watched Wild Wild Country. I was so blown away by it that I read his book, and it's actually like very interesting. I mean, I think he's written more than one book. I forget which one I have, but I read it a few years back, and I was like, this is a fascinating person. Like, he doesn't seem like a cult leader.
What made Osho magnetic, and what likely caught Rogan's attention, was his unrelenting dissection of the human mind. Over 2 decades, Osho delivered thousands of hours of talks, all recorded, often on video, and transcribed into hundreds of books. These weren't sermons. They were surgical analyses of how we think, feel, and live. He tackled the mind as psychology, emotion, morality, religion, politics, every angle you could imagine. Then he'd push his listeners to let it all go, to move beyond the mental clutter towards something deeper, something silent. Rogan, a guy who spent years probing the edges of consciousness through psychedelics, martial arts, and raw conversation, would have found this approach irresistible. Osho wasn't just talking about transcendence, he was mapping it out.
He's my favorite.
Yeah.
But the people
Bhagwan.
are retarded.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded. So let us say, government by the retarded, for the retarded, of the retarded.
Osho's style was as bold as his ideas. He didn't mince words. He called out hypocrisy, whether in religious institutions, political systems, or everyday life, with a sharpness that could make you wince. Novelist Tom Robbins, a fan of Osho's, described him as a hard, sweet wind blowing across the planet, knocking the hats off rabbis and popes, exposing lies and shaking up the powerful. Rogan, no stranger to calling BS on bloated systems, likely saw a kindred spirit in this. Osho's cosmic comedy, as Robbins put it, wasn't just funny, it was revolutionary. Where Jesus had parables and Buddha had sutras, Osho wielded humor and provocation, tailor-made for a world crippled by greed, fear, and dogma. But Osho wasn't just a rebel. He proposed something radical, that every person has the birthright to experience true individuality, that oceanic state of being. He believed the path to this lay inward, in silence and peace, where no other human could follow. For Rogan, who's hosted everyone from neuroscientists to conspiracy theorists, this idea would have resonated. His podcast is a platform for exploring the fringes of human potential, and Osho's vision fits right in, a call to strip away the noise and find something real. Osho's influence wasn't limited to spiritual seekers. His ideas drew praise from a staggering range of figures. The Dalai Lama called him an enlightened master, working to help humanity evolve. Filmmaker Federico Fellini admitted to being charmed by his books. Deepak Chopra, a titan in the self-help world, said Osho's insights belonged in every library, offering a window into the pure potentiality within us all. Even Shirley MacLaine, the actress known for her spiritual explorations, said she'd read nearly all of Osho's books and listened to his tapes. These weren't lightweight endorsements. They painted a picture of a man whose ideas transcended borders, cultures, and disciplines. Rogan, though, wasn't just parroting the hype. His reaction to Osho was grounded in a genuine sense of discovery. In his conversations, you can hear the gears turning as he grapples with the contrast between Osho's philosophy and the chaos of the Rajneesh movement.
But these people bought a town. They bought the whole town. They got a police force. Dude, they had their own police force. They're cooking together and laughing and dancing and doing yoga and having a good old time and chanting. And it seems like they're having a wonderful time. But like this independent little blip of escape of norms of regular society, and these people get there, they wear fucking gas masks and fuck each other and go crazy and do cartwheels in the dirt, and they hang out together for days on end, having a great time. And they realize that people, and at least in small bursts, can establish these communities, set up all this temporary art, have a great time, and everybody's like, you know, really like-minded in a lot of ways, hanging out in this one place.
Wild Wild Country didn't pull punches. It showed the cult's darker side, from voter fraud to attempted murder.
Yet he allowed that crazy Sheila lady to run his cult and poison people and
But even
plot
before that,
assassinations.
But even before that, he was collecting Rolls Royces, and
Yeah.
he loved the
Loved luxury. They poisoned everybody. They poisoned people when they were trying to take over politically. But that was that one woman. What was her? The one woman who got in trouble. She was kind of running the cult.
Right.
She was pretty brutal.
The Rajneesh movement's scandals, bioterror attacks, voter manipulation, and allegations of exploitation cast a long shadow.
They did a dirty thing there, where they took all those homeless people and they brought them so they could count as voters, and then they kicked them out.
Yeah.
So they take over a town and they actually bus in homeless people so that they can pump up their numbers and vote to take over the town.
Rogan acknowledged this in his discussions, noting the fine line between cults and religions. In episode 1135, he and Shafir mused about how cults exploit the same human vulnerabilities as organized faiths, just with flashier packaging.
I got a friend of mine, and his girlfriend's parents were in that group.
Really?
Yeah, and they still follow that guy's teachings. They still believe in him.
The Mogwai?
The Osho. There's a picture that I had of him that I put up on my Instagram page of him holding this white guy's head, and this guy's like coming in his pants. It's one of the freakiest pictures.
Oh my God.
Look at this. Oh, look at the guy. The guy's like, oh, I'm white.
I'm touching you.
I'm so white. He's touching both of them at the same time. Left hand on the dude, right hand on the girl. He's like transmitting through them, giving them orgasms. Look at him. He's like, oh
my God.
They believed in it, man.
Yet Rogan didn't let the controversy define Osho. He focused on the ideas, not the headlines, a choice that reflects his broader philosophy of seeking truth beyond the noise.
There's great benefits to all those things, right? Sex feels great. If you have a lot of money, you can buy awesome things and you enjoy them and you feel like you've accomplished something. If you have a lot of celebrity, then everybody kisses your ass. And he would walk in the room with his hands clasped together, and everybody would go crazy. But it's a different kind of celebrity, right? It's not... His celebrity was not just like, oh, there's Tom Papa, dude, I love your bread show.
Right.
It wasn't that.
Right.
It was, you have the answers, oh, Swami.
Well, that's...
Oh, Osho.
Yeah.
Oh, Bhagwan.
But that's
Rajneesh.
the ultimate power, is celebrity mixed with God, mixed with the answer to that.
Guru.
That, forget
Guru
it.
power.
Now you're off the chart.
Osho's vision was uncompromising. He believed humanity was stuck, trapped by fear, greed, and outdated beliefs. His solution? A new kind of human. One who embraced both science and spirituality, who lived fully in the present without clinging to the past. Rogan, who's spent years exploring what it means to live authentically, would have found this compelling. It's not hard to imagine him nodding along as Osho urged people to shed their illusions and embrace the unknown. The scope of Osho's influence is staggering. His books, translated into dozens of languages, continue to sell millions. Robert Rimmer, author of The Harrod Experiment, predicted that Osho's works would one day outsell the Bible. Whether or not that happens, the enthusiasm is telling. For Rogan, Osho wasn't just a fleeting interest. He kept circling back to him, mentioning his books and ideas across multiple episodes. It's easy to see why. Osho's blend of radical honesty, intellectual rigor, and spiritual depth was a perfect match for Rogan's own quest for truth. In a world drowning in dogma and distraction, Osho's voice, sharp, playful, and unapologetic, cut through like a blade. And for a curious mind like Rogan's, that was more than enough to keep listening.